if you are a language learner, it's really important for you to ask questions. And two of the important questions that you will use are, how do you say something in one language, language number one, in another language, language number two. So you're thinking of a word in your language, for example, and you want to know how to say it in English. That's one way. Or you want you know the word in English, but you don't know how to say it in Chinese, for example. And the other one is about the definition, the meaning of a word. What does something mean? It means whatever, whatever. Okay, so let's think of some sentences that you can ask me. How do you say in English? Because English is what we're studying now. So how would you ask this question? Take a word think of something you want to know how to say that in English. So you know the Chinese word, and you can make this question. Can you think of a question to ask? Do you understand the sentence structure? How do you say 邮家 in English?
Okay.
Like that, right? So maybe your first language is Chinese, you think of one word. And then you want to know what language? English, because you're studying English now. All right, so we can check this one out. For you, you want to know how to say this in English. All right, so make the question. I want you to practice making the question.
Okay. How do you say 书柜 in English?
How do you say 书柜 in English? Good question. How do you say 书柜 in English? In English, to say 书柜, we say bookcase. Bookcase, right? So I can write the word here in English, bookcase. All right, give me another question. Think of something in your language, and you want to learn how to say it in English. You will use this pattern. How do you say da-da-da-da-da in English? And I can give you the answer because I'm an English speaker.
How do you say 雕塑 in English?
How do you say 雕塑 in English? I believe 雕塑 in English is a sculpture.
Sculpture.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Sculpture. So is 雕塑 a noun or a verb?
Noun.
It's a noun.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's a sculpture because the word sculpture in English is something, a noun, right? This is a noun.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, do you know another noun that belongs to this same family? So sculpture is the piece of art, but the person is also a noun, right? So the person is also, begins like this, sculpt, but the end is different. Do you know the person? What do you call a person who makes sculptures? What do you call a person who makes sculptures?
Sculpture.
Sculptor.
Sculptor.
Sculptor. So this T-O-R is just the same as instructor or doctor, right?
Yeah.
So the pronunciation doctor is the same T-O-R pronounced either E-R or O-R, same sound. Both of these are nouns. Now I'd like to ask you about the verb. So I know the verb in English. The verb in English is sculpt. So I'm a sculptor. I want to make a sculpture. I sculpt a piece of wood. I sculpt some clay or maybe some other kind of material. So let me ask you a question. If I know the English and I want to know the Chinese, then this language number 2 is going to be Chinese. So I can ask you, how do you say sculpt in Chinese?
Sculpt.
Yes. How do you say sculpt, the verb, in Chinese? I'm following the same pattern. How do you say sculpt? And then I'm asking you in Chinese, because you're the Chinese expert.
雕刻.
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 So 雕刻, is that a 动词. Is that a verb?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so that way we can exchange information and learn more about each other's languages. So this is a good way to say the sentence. Now I'd like you to think of another word in Chinese that you want to ask about in English. Use this sentence pattern here. How do you say and then you can say in English or in French.
How to say?
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you. I want you to be sure to use this pattern because when you say how to, this is not correct. How do you? You have a subject. Here's a subject, and here's a verb. This one is the auxiliary verb. This is the main verb. So how do you say? That's why I want to teach you this because it's a very common thing that language learners need to ask. So you might as well say it in a correct way, right?
Yeah.
So how do you say? Go ahead.
How do you say 书法 in English?
How do you say 书法 in English? I believe 书法 is calligraphy.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so calligraphy. So 书法 in Chinese, calligraphy in English. How many syllables are there in the word calligraphy?
Calligraphy. 4.
So there are 4 syllables. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Where's the stress? First, second, third, or fourth?
Calligraphy.
1, 2, 3, or 4.
Calligraphy. First one.
First one? All right, so you want to say it like this? All right, if I say it like this, listen. Calligraphy. Is that correct? Calligraphy. Is that the same way I said it before?
Calligraphy.
Oh, now you want to change to 4-3 and say calligraphy. Calligraphy. Did I say it that way before?
Calligraphy.
Okay, now you want to change it to this one.
Calligraphy.
Calligraphy. Calligraphy. Is that the way I said it before?
Calligraphy.
Okay, so now we try this way. Calligraphy. Calligraphy.
Calligraphy.
So did I say it like that before? Calligraphy.
Calligraphy.
No, I didn't say it that way. Okay, so not 4-4.
This is not looks first one. I'm not.
You're not sure?
Yeah, not sure.
Okay.
Calligraphy.
All right, let me say it again.
3.
Let's see if you can match my pronunciation and my stress, the way I stress it. If you can match it with the way you hear it, okay? So I'm going to say this word again. 4 syllables. Calligraphy. Calligraphy.
First one.
Calligraphy.
Yeah,
Calligraphy.
First one.
First one.
Yeah.
If I put this way, then I must pronounce it like this. Calligraphy. 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 But that's not the correct way.
If like this, then it's 2.
Then it's 2.
Yeah, calligraphy.
Okay? If like this,
You
then
say
it's this way.
You say calligraphy.
Calligraphy, right? Calligraphy. Calligraphy. Calligraphy.
这个词好像不怎么明显，就是它的重读不是除了那个可以能够区分出来。如果我知道 CS 不是 ca， 我就知道它应该是第二个可能性比较大，但是第二个的可能性和第3、第4个都有可能。
Now, if you hear this one,
k,
this is a schwa. So schwa can never be stressed.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
If it's not schwa, it's calligraphy, But I didn't ever say cat. No, I didn't ever say cat. I said k. So part of it is listening and also being sensitive to what you hear. So, when you learn new vocabulary, there's a very lot to learn, right? You learn the word, what it looks like, the spelling.
Yeah.
You have to learn how many syllables there are. And then you have to learn where the stress is. So that's a lot to learn besides learning the meaning, right? So when we hear k, you remember if you hear a vowel very low, very weak, then you should say, that one cannot be the stressed syllable. So when we see this one, we have collig, right?
Yeah.
Now, what happens to the next one? What is the sound here? Is this the sound or the sound a? Is this the sound or sound a?
Calligraphy.
All right, so if we have another then number 3 cannot be the stressed syllable either, right? So if I have calligraphy, that cannot be the stressed syllable. All right, so basically we have this and this. And what happens is when we learn from seeing, we learn from looking at letters, then we notice these letters A, and we think, oh, like cat, right? And cat, right? But no, lots of times that vowel letter A becomes and in this case, both letters A are and if they're both they cannot be stressed. So it can't be 1 and it can't be 3. And usually ending Y is not stressed, right? It's usually some sort of suffix. So we don't even want to consider 4. But this is the one that has the main stress right here, lig. So this one with the I sound, sometimes it can be stressed and sometimes it can be weak like a schwa. So that's a little bit confusing, right? And also when you look at it, you think, oh, the A is big and fat. But the I is very thin. So maybe your eyes are giving you the wrong meaning or the wrong idea. So now you have to focus on what happens with your ears and hear it and feel it. So this word is calligraphy. Say it again.
Calligraphy. Calligraphy.
Now I want to show you another word that's just like it, follows the same stress pattern and has the same suffix here. Okay, so this is the word photography. Now, do you see this word photography?
Photography.
How many syllables?
Photography. 4.
Okay, so photography. Where's the stress?
Photography.
4, 2. Right. All right. So here's the stress on this syllable right here. What is the sound here? This one? This is a sound, right? So if it's f sound, it cannot be stressed. But this one is a sound. So fata. And what is the sound here? This is a. This is also a schwa sound. So you see that these are the same. We have la 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 la. So la 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 la. Calligraphy, right?
Yeah.
We also have photography, right?
Yes.
Photography. I'll give you another one that's like this too.
Photography is 摄影师。
摄影师 No. 摄影学
摄影学对名词 noun
是个名词。Well, 摄影师 is a noun also, but 摄影师 is the photographer, the person.
Yes, difference.
Like the sculptor
Yes.
is the one who sculpts and the one who makes sculptures. A sculptor makes sculptures. A sculptor sculpts.
Yes.
Okay? A photographer makes photographs.
Yeah.
And photography is the art of making photographs. If you see this one, although there's a difference in the ending, there still is a similar pattern. So if I say biology, can you tell me the number of syllables? Biology. Biology. Biology.
4.
4 syllables. Okay, so biology has 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stress.
Biology.
Stress on what? Biology, right? So here, it's on 2. So you see?
生物学。
生物学，对，生物学 biology. So it follows the same pattern, right? Okay. So you asked me, how do you say 书法 in English?
Yeah.
And I answered you, what?
Calligraphy.
Right, calligraphy.
Calligraphy.
Calligraphy, right. Okay, so here's one of the brushes that you use. Isn't that right? You use this brush. Right? To write your calligraphy.
Yeah.
And then you have beautiful words, poems, or paintings.
Yeah.
Or maybe you sometimes use a smaller brush, right? For finer details. So what do you call this? So maybe,
比价
okay, so I can ask you in English. What do you call a calligraphy, no, I guess this is called a calligraphy brush stand. What do you call this in Chinese?
比价
Bijia. What kind of bi? Because bi means a writing implement. These are also bi, but you don't put these kind of bi on here, right?
毛笔架
Mao, yeah, Mao bi. Yes, because Mao bi is a brush, right? That's different from any other kind of writing implement like pen or pencil. But you see this word bi in Chinese. In English, you have to specify saying pencil or pen or whiteboard marker or brush. But in Chinese, all of them are bi, right? But this one is a special kind. It's a mao bi. So mao bi jia, right? So we have to call it a brush stand. Okay, that's how we say that in English. And mao bi jia is how you say it in Chinese. Give me one more question. Ask me one more question. How do you say something in another language?
How do you say Okay, how do you say How do you say 路灯 in English?
How do you say
路灯
路灯 in English?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean outside?
Outside of
路上那些灯.
Yeah.
How do you say 路灯 in English? Street lamp.
Street lamp.
It's pretty much like a translation of Chinese. So 路 street, right? Well, one kind of way to say street is 路, not always. Sometimes 路 and 街 both are street. Okay, so lamp 灯. Okay, so 路灯. In English, we say street lamp.
How about the road lamp?
No, we never say road lamp. We always say street lamp.
Okay.
Just like probably in Chinese, you say 路灯. Do you ever say 街灯?
Yeah. We
街灯,
never.
路灯. No,
we
you
never.
don't. You always say 路灯, huh?
Yeah.
You don't say 街灯. So the same thing. We just say street lamp.
Okay.
And we don't change it. We don't say avenue lamp and boulevard lamp and way lamp and drive lamp. No, we don't change it according. This is basically the name of it, street lamp.
Okay.
How many syllables and what's the stress? Street lamp.
Street lamp. 2.
2 syllables? Okay. Where's the stress?
Street lamp. Street lamp. Second one.
Second one?
Yeah.
Okay, if it's second one, it goes like this. Street lamp. Street lamp. Street lamp.
Street lamp.
Is that correct? Is that the same as what I said before?
Okay, first.
Yes?
First
Oh,
one.
no, it's different, right?
First one.
Okay, so not
Street
the second one.
Street lamp.
Not the second one. But actually the first one. Street lamp. Street lamp. Street lamp. Okay, so we'll tell you about this one. This one is a noun compound. Noun compound means 2 or more, right? So a noun compound is composed of 2 parts, and both parts are nouns. This is a noun street. This is a noun lamp. A noun compound in English has a pattern of high-low. So stress the first one. Street lamp. Street lamp. Okay,
It's
so
the
for
one
example-
word, not the 2 words, right?
Correct. Sometimes it's spelled. Noun compounds are kind of strange in spelling. Sometimes they're 1 word, sometimes they're 2 words. Sometimes they're hyphenated words. That part is not regular. But the good thing to know and the thing to remember is the stress pattern is always regular. It always has the stress on the first word, not on the second word. Like you earlier asked me, how do you say 书架 in English? All right, and I told you the answer was bookcase, right?
Yes.
So this is also a noun compound, isn't it?
Yeah,
we have
noun
book and we have case.
compound. Yeah.
So for the noun compound, then we pronounce it 2-1 because here, right?
Yeah.
So how do you say that? You say bookcase.
Bookcase.
Bookcase. Always goes high-low, high-low.
Bookcase.
Right. Or we can also call it this. So bookshelf and bookcase are a little bit different. A bookshelf is just the shelf by itself. So here, right? And maybe there's just one bookshelf. Because, you know, we could put a bookshelf on the wall, just one shelf. Or we can put plural. So shelves. Notice that for the F, we change to the, and then we add ES for bookshelves. So bookshelves could be, you know, several of them like that. But a bookcase is a complete piece of furniture. So if it's a piece of furniture, then we can call it a bookcase. How about in Chinese? Is it the same or different?
书柜和书架。
Oh, 书柜和书架. What is that one called?
Bookcase.
That's a bookcase.
Yeah.
Oh, good. In English. How about in Chinese? You call that a 书柜 or 书架?
This one is a bookcase.
So in Chinese, what do you call it?
书柜。
书柜. Okay, but you asked me when we started, before we started our lesson, you asked me how can you have you wanted to make some 书架 for your room, for your office. You wanted to make 书架, right? So I need to ask you, do you really want 书架 or 书柜?
Okay, got it.
Do you want bookshelves or bookcase?
Bookcase.
You do? You want a bookcase?
Yes.
Okay.
Bookcase can move.
Bookcase you can move because it's a piece of furniture.
Yeah.
It's a piece of furniture, right? And if you have a bookcase, you should be able to just move the piece of furniture. If you have bookshelves, they might be attached to the wall, and then it'd be more difficult to move them. Or sometimes you have shelves that are you place them on something like bricks or something that stands up, and then you can move those around. So it's possible. Anyway, if you say bookshelves or bookcase, people will understand you. They're very close in meaning.